Welcome back. So, the title of this mini lecture is The Holocaust, and we're going to try to talk about five things that you should understand as you go to read more and research this particular and very difficult topic to process. So, let's get into this. First off, Hitler and Nazism. When Adolf Hitler comes to political prominence and power in the 1920s and the early 1930s, it is abundantly clear that both he and his followers place a great deal of blame on Jewish individuals for a wide variety of supposed ills that existed within German society and the world at large. This is evidenced certainly in Mein Kampf, but also in a wide variety of other writings, speeches, and the actions of these individuals when they take power by 1933 and remake the German state in their image. This is something that is active and present throughout this time. Secondly, final solution. Now, the process by which and the decision to carry out a genocide against Jewish individuals is something that develops over time. Hitler has these views, others within the Nazi state and the high command, they have these views, but they will need to sort of come to the decision point and then create a logistical process to carry out their decision. Well, the decision point is partly predicated on a few things, and there are a series of meetings that begin in the summer of 1941 and in late fall 1941, and part of this is predicated on the conduct of the war in the East. So the Germans had invaded Russia, and they would, by the end of 1941, be very successful in advancing through the Soviet Union. But by the end of 1941, they hadn't achieved their objectives, so they sort of developed this two-pronged process whereby they sought to systematically murder all Jewish individuals, but while they're also carrying out these murders, carrying out this genocide, they will also maintain labor camps for many of these individuals as well. Either A, murdering people, or B, working people until they would die and brutalizing them as well. So thirdly then would be the camp system. We have, of course, in the K through 12 environment, both in this country and around the world, the use of the term concentration camp. Now, when we tend to think of camps, this is the term that we tend to use. We should, of course, understand that there were many different kinds of camps, many different kinds of detention areas that the Germans used. Remember, it isn't singularly the archetypal German soldier in the Wehrmacht in the East that is the only individual carrying out acts of atrocity. You have the SS, you have the Einsatzgruppen, you have auxiliary police forces from local areas that are working with the Nazis to carry out acts of ethnic cleansing. You have thousands of camps across the greater German Reich, across the many areas that they would come to control. The U.S. Holocaust Museum and many other museums around the world have done some good work to try to find where many of these camps are. So yes, you have the larger death camp facilities that we tend to think of, such as at Auschwitz or Bergen-Belsen and others. But again, when we're talking or thinking about the camp process, there are many thousands for us to come to grips with and to understand. Fourth is complicity. In the generation after World War II, you saw a strong effort on the part of sort of average civilians within Germany and other areas of Europe. Maybe not deny their involvement. Yeah, many did deny their involvement, but they tried to singularly place blame on leading individuals within either the German state or the Nazi party. That they didn't do it, they had nothing to do with it, it was the Nazis who did it. Now, that's not exactly the way it worked at all. The way that the Nazis are able to achieve what they achieved is by relying on individuals being complicit, on individuals not saying something, on individuals not standing up or fighting back. Of course, individuals were complicit, whether they were passive in this or they were open in their complicity. Most individuals were complicit in this. So that is an important element for us to understand, that the average German, the average individual in many of these areas was complicit. Fifth would be denial. The sad reality in recent decades is that the growth and the wide variety of Holocaust denial has become far more common. The common things that I will see is folks say that it wasn't Jewish individuals who were the main targets, or they will also say that it didn't exist. Now, it existed. It happened to Jews. Jewish individuals were the main target. There is enough evidence to prove that to be true. That's it. Okay? Thanks.